Thank you for joining us for this episode of US Law Live. This podcast is brought to you by US Law's official corporate partners, SEA Limited, American Legal Records, Arcadia Settlements Group, Immersion Legal, Marshall Investigative Group, and MDD Forensic Accountants. We very much appreciate your support and partnership.
All right. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in to this week's episode of US Law Live, the podcast. This is Jessica Dark, one of your lovely hosts from the Oklahoma City firm of Pierce Couch, and I'm joined with my very, very fun co-host, Mike Judy. Hi, Mike.
Hello, Jessica. How are you?
Well, it's the Monday after the July 4th holiday, Mike, so I'm pretty tired. How about you?
You know, I'm just glad that I still have all of my 10 fingers, all 10 toes, at least for now. So yeah, great weekend, and just what a way to start off a Monday after a long weekend. Then our fabulous guest, Jen Tricker from the Baird Holm firm in Omaha, Nebraska. Hello, Jen.
Hi, guys. Thanks for having me.
Hi, Jen. How was your weekend?
It was good. Lots of fireworks, lots of pool time, lots of kids. It's good.
Did you shoot fireworks at kids in the pool?
No, they were all separate and all distinct, but fun.
How is your long weekend when it comes to balancing work? Are you doing work on Friday while everyone's out at the pool, or are you kind of putting your phone down and just I'll worry about that on Monday? What are your long weekend vibes?
I try to put the phone down and the computer off when I can. This weekend I worked a couple hours, but I'd been out the week before, so I was catching up. But long weekends I try to focus on the kids, the family when I'm there. There was a women's connection meeting a few years ago, and we had a speaker, and one of the things she said was be where your feet are. And so I try really hard, particularly on holidays and things like that, but when I'm home is really when I'm focusing on. I'm where my feet are. So if I'm where my kids are, where my family is located, I try to be there when I can. It's not perfect, but I try.
So is that like put the phone up, don't check, just put it all behind you, or just minimize it?
It's minimize. It's triage. If I have to do it, it's flagged for Monday. But I'd be silly to say that I can totally put it away and not look at it. I mean, that's not accurate.
Yeah.
But
I like that you brought up the women's connection. It looks like in 2021 in Park City, you facilitated a session that was called What Would You Tell Your 25-year-old Self About Pursuing a Career in the Legal Field? Do you remember that, first of all? And second, what are some things you would have told your 25-year-old self?
Thanks for prepping me for this, Jessica. I don't remember that one because, as we do these, they are just discussions that we throw out. So it was probably more of the group talking. But I probably would have told my 25-year-old self to be where your feet are to the extent you can. I mean, truly, I do think that that's the, I do think that I've been practicing for over 20 years. And I think when I think about that, it's to really know what's important to you and to remember that, to keep that in perspective. Mm-hmm.
Now, did you start with Baird Holm, or what was your trajectory legal career-wise to get where you are?
Yeah, so I took a few years off between undergrad and law school. Started my first year of law school at the University of Denver. I was on a 4-year program because I worked full-time and went to law school at night. And then my second year of law school, I transferred to the University of Nebraska at Lincoln. And so I got done in 3 years. I just pushed forward and got some extra credits, got done in 3 years. So then between my second and third year of law school, I clerked at Baird Holm. And then I came on to Baird Holm as a first-year lawyer. And I've been here ever since. They keep me around. So.
And what do your days consist of? I mean, for those, like the two people that are listening that don't know you and haven't met you, I mean, what's your background? What are your practice areas? What keep you busy during the day, legal wise? Because I know you've got a lot of other stuff on your plate.
Sure. So I chair our commercial litigation group at the firm. So part of my day is just management. But a lot of my day is my practice consists of I do a lot of kind of a tort practice in some ways. I do some trucking work, some products liability work. I do some nursing home defense. I'll pick up all sorts of commercial transactions also. I'm in Nebraska, which means we have commercial litigators. I do a lot of different things because we are not as populous of a state. But yeah, so I'm a commercial litigator, mostly defense, almost entirely defense work. So
How many lawyers do you have at Baird Holm?
right around 100.
Oh,
But
wow.
we're a 150-year-old law firm. We're the oldest firm in Nebraska, so we've been around a while. 100. We have a general practice, meaning we don't do any criminal work, but we do have lawyers who do all sorts of things. So we have transactional M&A attorneys. We've got a huge healthcare section, a huge employment section, a very large real estate section, things like that. So we have kind of run the gamut on the kinds of attorneys at the firm.
I really like that about I'm at more of a mid-sized firm. We have about 45 lawyers, and it's nice when you have a client with maybe a question or a need in an area you don't specifically practice in, but you know that some of your partners or the other lawyers in your firm can help out, and it's nice to keep that stuff all in-house.
Yeah, absolutely.
How much of your time is split between practicing and actual management of the practice group?
Most of my time is practicing law. The practice group is pretty self-sufficient. The partners in my section are very good. So are the associates. They're all very polished and very good attorneys. So it doesn't take a ton of effort, but it does take some time.
So you don't have any problem children like it would be managing Jessica and I if we worked for you?
No, nothing like that. Nothing so extreme, no.
Our biggest problem is that we just can't stop talking, right, Mike? Is that why we got slated for this?
I mean, I know that I have a problem not talking, but that's just me.
Jen, whenever you are, managing or dealing with your younger lawyers, maybe haven't been practicing as long, what are some qualities that you try to instill in them, to help them become a great litigator?
That's a good question. Part of it, I always go back to be where your feet are. That's sort of my mantra. Like be where you are. If you're at a CLE, learn what you're supposed to learn. If you're doing research, spend your time doing the research. Don't be jumping back and forth to other projects or, whatever your extra things that you're doing, social media, stay off that. Do what you need to do. So focus on what you should be doing at the time. But getting out there, I want to hear what younger attorneys have to say. When it's appropriate, share your insights. When you have questions, ask questions so you can learn why we do things. Some people who I work with really need to know why. Why do I need to ask this sort of discovery question? Why do we, have to ask this in a deposition? And don't be afraid to ask why if that's how you need to learn, because that's how you will learn. So those sorts of things I like my associates to make sure they're doing.
That's really a great lesson, and I need to kind of take your mantra with me, I think, because I have a very hard time focusing on one thing and getting it done before I've done 10 other things. I will just bounce back and forth. So what are some of the benefits that you see from that kind of leading your life like that in the office?
I think it's more efficient in a lot of ways to do it, get it done, and get it off your list. I think you're more efficient with what you're doing and what you're finding. And then the way my brain works, there's so much clutter in it when there's too many things to do that I can, get one done and get the clutter out. So my brain's a little bit more efficient, if you will. I don't know if that makes any sense, but anyway, that's how it works. I think it's efficient when that's done. I also think your work product's better. When you've thought about something, you've done it efficiently, you've done it to the end, and then you've created your final product. I just think you have better work product when you do it, and it's better for the client.
And do you find too that helps you be a more effective manager that when your associates come to you and ask you for advice and, you're asking them, well, ask yourself, why are you doing the same thing internally them internally then when you're trying to explain to them why they need to do something is you're asking yourself, that's a good question. Let me revisit the why are we doing this? Why have I done it this way?
Absolutely. I mean, we find ourselves sometimes think we've always done it this way, so we just keep doing it this way because that's the way we've always done it. And when you start thinking about it, you think, why do I ask that discovery question when there's actually a rule that requires them to answer that? Why am I burning an interrogatory or something like that? Like it's these little silly things, well, because we've always done it that way. And you realize, you start thinking about why do I do this a certain way? And I think it creates efficiency on for both people involved.
You mentioned, talking to the younger lawyers or the associates in your office kind of about what's going on with them or what they're seeing. What are some of the issues that kind of generation of lawyers may be facing that maybe you didn't in your practice?
And I don't know that I can generalize it, but when I think about some of the younger attorneys in my office, I thought that my generation was moving at a quick speed compared to the generation above me. And my father-in-law was a litigator, construction litigator. And he said, when he started practicing, it was all faxes and letters by US mail. And so things moved more slowly. And then when he saw email sort of come into the picture, people wanted a response. Your clients wanted a response faster. The court wanted a response faster. Everything kind of, the response got faster. I think that happens even more so. I think we're still seeing that with the younger attorneys in my office. But it's more of a like heads are always in phones or on the computer, or there's always typing when there's talking going on, and there's just I see less and less downtime, and I think it didn't sort of speed up with sort of my generation and then sort of level off with the advent of email, I guess is how I would look at that. It sped up, and to me, it looks like it's still speeding, and it's even faster. And that's what I see. Like there's just this belief from the younger attorneys in the firm that they just have to always be on their devices or on their computers or responding, and I think it's probably quite tiring, if I had to guess.
I was going to say, is that why I'm so exhausted?
I think so.
Not the 8-month-old puppy that wakes us up multiple times a night still.
Oh gosh, I'm glad you just said that because we've been talking about maybe getting a second dog. I need all that.
Please
need more chaos.
Do not, for your own sake. She's cute, and she's about to go off for a 2-week, calling it training camp. And they ask all these questions. What are the points that you want to make sure we hit with her, and what are the ways we can make her a more well-behaved dog? And I had a lot of points to raise for those. And then they were like, and what are your favorite things about her? And I was like, oh no, well, she's cute, and that's it. So bring her back.
End of list.
Yeah, that's all I've got. But yeah, it's been exhausting. I personally don't recommend it, but maybe it's just because I'm so far out of the baby life that I wasn't prepared to have to wake up multiple times a night anymore.
That's tough. But yes, the puppy plus, electronics is going to make you tired. And kids.
Yeah.
And practice and life.
So you've got your feet obviously where you are when you're litigating, your feet where you are when you're at home, your feet where you are when you're managing people, and you've added another place to put your feet for the upcoming year, which is the incoming chair for US law.
Yeah.
So what made you kind of wanted, take on that position, and to the extent you can, what are kind of your visions or thoughts for the upcoming year?
Yeah, I'm really excited to take that on. I've got big shoes to fill. Ken has been doing a great job this year, and I'll take over in September at the fall conference. This last year, we put in a new strategic plan, a 10-year plan. And so I think my goal is generally to stay focused on that and to continue what the membership has viewed as important issues for US law. So that's how I'm looking at what next year is going to look like, is a continuation of what Ken has started with the strategic plan. And then did you ask how I got involved, how this happened?
Yeah, like what made you decide to take on that role, to get more involved in leadership?
Yeah, I've been involved with US law since I think 2007. It was the first year of my I was an associate when I became involved, and I came to the first meeting that we were invited to, or that we came to as a member, and I've sort of been involved ever since. My firm is very proactive about getting those involved with things that are valuable to that person. And so this was deemed as valuable. So I was one of the people that the firm has always sent. That allowed me, I got into leadership in some of in some of the practice groups. And I ended up chairing the Women's Connection group. I think that's the first one I chaired. And then I moved on to the board. And then from the board, I moved into the executive committee. And then from executive committee, I moved into senior leadership. So I was secretary treasurer last year, incoming chair this year, and I'll be chair next year. So that's how that worked sort of logically. But I really like US Law. It's been a great organization for me and for my firm. And I hope for others with my firm's involvement. It's been a great source of business development for my firm, but also we've utilized so many other firms. Our clients have utilized so many other firms that they've needed assistance. I enjoy the people so much, the events so much, the clients so much. It's such a great organization for me. My personality type, this is good for me. This sort of the same people. I have these relationships that I've built with people, and that works well for me. So yeah, I found this group. I found that it was something that I liked. Excuse me. I found comfort there. And so then I go back to what I tell my associates. I got involved. I found, you ask, what do I tell my associates? When I want them to get involved in something, I say, find something that you like. Find something that you're either good at or that you like. It's going to make you happy. So if you're going to sit on a board of directors in the community, find an organization that is after your heart. So I sat on a number of boards of directors in Omaha that were after my heart. And that's what I tell my associates to do, or colleagues, because if you're going to spend your time and your energy doing something, do it with gusto. But it's always really nice when you're doing it with gusto with something that matters to you, something that you like, something that you enjoy. And that's what US Law is to me. It's an organization I enjoy, I have value, I believe in. And so then to get into leadership just made a lot of sense.
What would you tell someone who's maybe, come to a couple US Law meetings, or maybe their firm is fairly new to the organization? What are it can be tips and tricks, or it can just be, some of your observations of how can they best, serve the organization? How can the organization serve them?
I think it goes to getting involved. Meet people, do the practice groups that you're interested in. If you like to write an article. If you like to speak at one of the events. If you want to get together with a group of people and do a law mobile and go out to a client and present to a client with other attorneys, do a law mobile. Do what works for you. If you want to do a podcast, if you want to do a webinar, there are so many opportunities for those things that you find yourself comfortable doing or good at doing. I would say, but come to things, get involved. This is definitely an organization where there's plenty to do, but there's also you could get lost if you don't introduce yourself to people, if you don't go to the events. When you're at the annual meeting or at the fall conference, go to the dinner, go to the afternoon activity, sign up for something. Go out and meet people so that you can get all the value out of this that you can, because when you do that, the value is significant. The value in both meaningful relationships with member attorneys as well as clients. I have great friends who are both clients and member attorneys.
You mentioned Ken Wingate, our fearless chair, and he had, I believe his plan he called the full court press. Do you have a clever, quippy title you're looking at or going to work with for next year?
You know, I'm sort of don't have anything quite yet. We're sort of, wordsmithing that, seeing what we're going to come up with, but if there is one, it has not yet been solidified.
Are you going to ask ChatGPT?
Probably.
Is that
I'm sure you're probably also making sure that it's, PG-13 and that it'll actually make its way past the editors and
Yeah,
the
the editors.
censors.
Yes, I have problems with that generally. No, I don't.
I'm always interested because I know a lot of people talk about it these days when I bring up ChatGPT or AI, is that something that you're seeing a lot in Nebraska in your firm, or your clients wanting you to use it, not wanting you to use it? What's going on?
We have some clients who have absolutely said you may not use it. We use it only in certain instances that are very, very vetted. So like via like Westlaw has an AI component to it that one can use. We don't put any client data or anything, and we won't. We can't do it right now. We don't think ethically at this point. But we hear some about it. I think it's coming down the path. We're absolutely on track for it. We're preparing for it, but I think a big push is coming soon. Absolutely.
So you've got and I'm going to continue with your wonderful theme, your feet in a lot of different places. One of the places I know that your feet are a lot is being a volleyball parent.
I am. I'm a volleyball mom and I'm a dance mom, which keep me very busy. But we just
And
ended, yeah.
travel a lot with both, I assume.
Yes, I sadly had to miss women's connection this year, the women's event, because I was down in Orlando at my daughter's national volleyball tournament. And so we were in Florida during the women's connection. So I sadly missed women's. But
And there's like thousands of teams at that, aren't there?
it's insane. It's true insanity. It's loud. It's great that it's indoors. I have kids who do indoor sports, which is great, but there's whistles. It's like there's like 1,000 whistles blowing at any time. And it's very loud, but it's exciting. I mean, I love volleyball. In Nebraska, they say Nebraska's the volleyball state. If you've never heard that, it's what we call ourselves. And but I'm sure you've all heard that. And but I love it. And then I have a daughter who dances, and so they have their club seasons are both volleyball and dance are both June, or not June, in spring. So all spring I've been all over the Midwest generally for one child or another. It's awesome.
And what kind of volleyball mom are you? Are you the sit quietly and clap your hands, or are you the jump up, scream and yell? Positively, of course, but where you get wrapped up into the games?
I'm pretty enthusiastic. My daughter's team, all the parents are pretty enthusiastic. We're positively enthusiastic. So I don't think I'd be called quiet.
And now, can you do that during the dance competitions as well, or is that you have to be more measured?
No, dance competitions are pretty insane also. So you can be loud at those. Those are also loud and also indoors. And they're in these like arenas with horrible acoustics. So there's this very loud music and dance after dance after dance and cheering. It's very fun.
My sister did dance competitions growing up, and I remember you'd sit there for about 4 hours and you'd see your person dance for what, a total of maybe 5 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
That's accurate.
Yep, that's about right. It's great. I love it.
See, and I'm just now like in my head, I'm envisioning you like standing in the aisle, like doing the routine with your daughter as she's going through it. Is that accurate or inaccurate?
It's inaccurate for dance. I sit sort of tense and watch it, and I yes, she got her triple, great, but it's more of that because I know it's different than volleyball because you know what's coming.
Right.
So, but yes, they're great.
So is that now calming down where you can enjoy, not that you don't enjoy it, but more of a maybe relaxing back half of the summer where you're not traveling as much, or are they gearing up for another season?
June is or July is our down month usually. So this is our much slower. No
What
travel.
what grades are they going into?
8th and 10th.
Do we have anyone saying like, wow, I really want to be a lawyer like mom? Or Or too
Sometimes,
early?
sometimes, I don't know. I think sometimes they say it because that's all they know. So we'll see. It could happen.
If you had to pick one of them, is there one that would more likely fit into the litigator role and than the
Yes,
other?
but I'm not going to publicly say which.
Oh man. It's yeah, and do not expect them to be enthusiastic when they listen to the podcast if they're anything like my kids. They begged and begged, like, can we listen to your podcast? And I was, you're gonna hate it, you're gonna think it's boring, you're not lawyers. And they got through about 3 minutes and they were like, yeah, let's turn this off.
My
Well,
husband did one a couple years ago and they just make fun of him for it. You're so boring. Dad, you're so boring. So I'm sure I'll get that too.
what would they rather us do, like a true crime podcast maybe?
Probably something like that. Or some like dating podcast they would think was, I don't know. Like they like these TV shows that are like probably horribly inappropriate. That are
Interesting. Maybe we could come up with some sort of like matchmaking episode where if you're in US law and you're single and looking for, someone to meet up with,
Yeah.
we could do kind of a pick 1, 2, or 3. I don't know why you're laughing, Mike. I think this is a great idea. I'm gonna
Come back in a
You're
month.
trying to turn you're trying to turn our podcast into Tinder. I
Do
don't
you
think
like
that's
that, or do
fair.
you want true crime? I mean, those are the top listened to podcasts.
I think we've just found this is the reason that we're not coming up with your quip for your chairwomanship next year.
Find a different team.
There you go. Well, you said you've been in US law for almost 20 years now. What's your favorite destination you've been to with US law?
It's hard to pick. I think I could say anything with a beach is usually, we've had some nice events in Southern California. I don't know. They're also nice. I think they all have their benefits, but I think give me any of the places with a beach and I'm generally pretty happy. We did women's once up in Maine. And that was nice. I'd never been up there and that was really nice.
Well, and we did miss you in Quebec City. Have you ever been to Canada?
Yes, but not to Quebec. And I was very disappointed to miss that.
It was lovely. It was gorgeous. We had beautiful weather the first 3 days, and then my activity that I chose, the most active one, was to go to the wineries. And that was the day it was raining. So we got to see the countryside, but in our rain jackets and umbrellas. But it was really beautiful. I'd never been to Canada. The Border Patrol were very skeptical of us and grilled us for what kind of conference is this? And how did you find out about this conference? And are you getting paid to be at this conference? And let me tell you, it was like being deposed and I got a little sweaty.
Oh, it's unfortunate.
Yeah.
Well, Jen, you've been very gracious with your time today. Is there any sort of last words of wisdom or any parting thoughts you'd like to leave for our listeners?
I mean, just thanks for having me, guys. I think it's great that you're doing this podcast. I think it's great. I've been listening to them. I think it's great to get to know all these people that I haven't, there's all sorts of things I'm learning about people. So I appreciate you guys taking your time to do this. It's great. Thank you.
Thank you for all that you do and all that you will do starting in your term next year. And it's been a true pleasure to have you.
Okay. Thanks.
Thank you, Jen.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to US Law Live. Stay tuned for more great conversations on US Law Live. To learn more about US Law Network, visit uslaw.org. Thank you.